This is how you roast coffee at home. First, buy green beans. I like Sweet Maria's. This one's pretty good. And then it has recommended roasting levels. So this is a city to full city. Look up what that looks like on any kind of label for image for coffee roasting. Then you go to your log, because you keep track of this stuff, and you find Ethiopia Organic Gedeb Workhoop, which matches something that you've already roasted. So you know already that the ideal roasting for your roaster is 6 minutes and 15 seconds. This will vary from roaster to roaster, so just keep a log of your own. This is my setup. I've got a metal colander, just because it gives better airflow than plastic, plus heated plastic, bad toxins and whatnot. I just rest it directly onto the fan so that way it blows straight up. You don't really have to touch it, but if you want to speed up the cooling process, you can kind of churn it around with your hand. This is for demonstration purposes only. I recommend doing this outside because it can get very smoky and smelly. Just a regular popcorn popper, and then the chaff will go into a bowl here. If you look into the popcorn popper, that is the proper type. You can see little vents around. The other type would have holes right in the middle where that circle is. You don't want to use that popcorn popper type. You can get an additional sleeve. I don't have any experience with that, but you can buy that on the Sweet Maria's website as well. With my popper, I go with a half a cup for each dose, and you just scoop it out, put it in there. Obviously your first roast, it'll take a second for it to heat up, so maybe slightly longer, but not by a whole lot. So I usually use the same timing throughout. So fast forward, beans are in the hopper. That's a half a cup right there. Just replace the popper top. That makes a difference with the temperature, so you don't want to roast it with it off, because that will change the temperature inside the chamber. So just keep that in mind. Also, same with this, you don't want to do it with it off, just to be consistent with your time. I like this one because it has a switch, you don't have to plug it in. Some poppers you have to plug in every single time to turn it on and off. And then the bowl is for the chaff, which is the outside of the green beans, which will come down and collect in here. If you don't have a bowl, it'll just kind of shoot everywhere and make a huge mess. So turn it on for in here, and then you'll see the beans for demonstration purposes. I'll take this off. You'll see them start to spin. If they don't spin, that means you have too many beans in there. And then you start your timer. So as the beans are churning, they start to get a little bit darker. You can see right at the top. But you get the best color once you actually take them out. I've got the fan running so that way, right when I take out the beans from here, remove the top, pour it directly into here, and then they start cooling immediately. So the timer's gone off. Switch it off. It's really hot. You can see it's all done. Just take it and dump it right there. So you see some of the chaff floating around. Stir. So this is why I do this outside. That's just some of the chaff that's going around. This stuff will be everywhere. So I'm going to take that outside right now. And just like, boom, put in another one and just keep it going. And that's the chaff that comes off. So that will be, if you do that inside, that will be in every nook and cranny in your house. So don't do that. So this is a nice city to full city plus roast. You can kind of tell by the color, so just compare that to a color chart. That's usually about where I like it. Not too dark. If you get too dark, it's really easy to burn. So if you go on the lighter side of the dark, then if you go a little bit too dark, at least it's not overburnt. I burnt it once and didn't throw it away, and it ended up in the batch, and I just ended up with a whole jar of just really bad coffee. So if you burn it, throw it away. For first day storage, I put a little bend in this just to make it a little bit easier. And then you could do the vented bags, but I think that's unnecessary. A jar is fine. So I usually do 2 hands with this so it falls in nicely. But yeah, just put it in the jar and then it's good. I like to leave the jar kind of cracked. So normally I have like a mason jar, but this is the spare jar that's in here. So just leave it cracked for the first night. Let all the beans off gas. And then after the first day, then put the jar on all the way. And then it looks like that. Make a nice roasted coffee for your espresso.